good evening, and welcome to Sunday Evening Coffee on a Friday night. I'm Brian, and sitting right across the table from me, across the cotton and the pumpkins and squashes and everything, is my beautiful wife, Crystal. Say hello, babe.
Oh, I can talk now. Hey, everybody. I was shushed.
Multiple times.
It's a challenge.
And, Jason and Jennifer. Oh, I was
Hello.
going to say on the long bench. We got rid of the long bench in here. But they're back, and we're ready for a good evening. We haven't recorded in a while, even though we did.
It's been a while.
And we have water.
We have
Right, 'cause
Friday water.
we're
Friday water evening.
And it's 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's 7 on a Friday, so we went with water.
We are
did have
wild and
coffee today.
crazy.
Jennifer drank coffee all day.
I drank
she
coffee all
said.
day.
And I had quite a bit this morning, and Crystal did too. And
I did too.
I always
I'm
drink
sure
coffee.
Jason had plenty
Always.
to do.
My coffee cups keep getting bigger in the morning. I'm like, I just had one cup, and it's like half a gallon. So
Bigger the mug, the more
story.
coffee. That's right.
it's just one cup.
So it's fall. Obviously, you can
Yes.
tell by the decor.
Happy fall.
It doesn't.
All my little
It's
plastic
just now starting to
pumpkins.
feel like fall.
Still in
so.
the 80 degrees.
All this, and she got
Close enough.
like all this fall decoration stuff, a wreath, and these 3
He hated it.
funeral
I liked
arrangements. That's what they are. They're
They are
3
not.
funeral arrangements, and
And they
she's
were on
like-
clearance. They were on sale.
She said, "I know you don't like them. I'm gonna take them all back." And I said, "Okay."
I couldn't find the
Then she
receipt.
couldn't find the receipt.
So I was
So
like,
now
I'm
they're
just
all over
keeping
the
them.
house.
I know. What else can you do? You don't want to waste money.
No.
No, you don't want to waste it. So.
So there you go.
Can it be painted or repurposed? Or
Just wait, I'll show you the decorations. in a bit.
I like them just fine, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Oh, well, there you go.
there you go.
So it doesn't matter.
See, you're
I
outruled.
think Crystal does a good job, so I
She
think you
does
might
do a
need
good
to
job.
come to
Like
her
the-
vision.
These are fine. Like the pumpkins and the wreath does
It's
not
mainly
bother
the
me.
funeral
It's
arrangement.
They look like little. I mean, they look like what you'd see in a funeral home.
We could go find a gravesite somewhere.
Yes. That's what that
It
is.
needs some polished decor.
Right.
So
Wow.
if you're watching, we're recording with the new camera. So I'm hoping that
Hoping it's recording.
it's on and everything else. It was a little confusing to figure all that out. But anyway, I'm starting to feel like I'm 80. So
Or one of these ladies. With the technically.
That's not how this
challenged
works.
I'm not in charge.
so what's new? What's exciting? Trump is
Cubs?
surging.
No.
Oh,
Oh, the Cubs.
Cubs won.
I realize I'm wearing Cubs colors.
There you
today,
go.
so.
Cubs win.
Yes.
Crazy.
Who knew what that W meant? Who knew?
I thought maybe Harry Carey would come back just
Yes.
to show up.
Did you see
I'm
the
so
picture of
excited.
like his grave? Like people had put all this
Oh, no,
I didn't see the
apple.
grave.
Yeah.
green apples or something. Like
I
it's
didn't-
covered with something. I don't know.
That was
I
one
don't
of his
understand
phrases
any of it.
about, but it was something about green apples.
So yeah, there's like bags of green apples all around his graveside and stuff. So.
But yes, a lot of people have been coming out of the woodworks.
Oh, yeah, bandwagon fans now.
Well, some, but
We
also
were Cubs fans before it happened, though.
yeah.
Right. You did have the W
We did
flag.
have the
We did
flag.
already
before.
You did have
yeah.
the flag.
We honor the rules and take it down before it's the next
Yeah, there's
game.
rules and everything. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Who
Who
knew?
knew?
Yeah.
The
Only
only
a Cubs fan.
the only Harry Carey I know is wasn't there a skit with Jim Carrey
No, Will
or was
Ferrell.
as Harry Carey? That's the only
Yeah.
one I know.
If the moon was made out of cheese, would you eat it? Oh, I would.
That's the only reference to Harry Carey I have.
It's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he portrayed it.
And like I said, to be honest, I don't like baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
I'm not a
like
baseball
baseball.
girl. I like the snacks, like the hot dogs and all the rest of it, but I'm not a baseball fan.
Have you been to any games?
I ate a lot of pretzels, like every 5 or 10 minutes, and I think I probably drank some beer.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, of course. I'm sanctified now.
Cubs win. Trump is surging. Hillary's hopefully going to go to jail.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
In
Well, no,
stripes.
Tuesday.
we've all voted. We
Yes,
early
we
Yes,
all
we
voted.
early
already
voted.
voted.
Yeah. On a Saturday, we got right in, right out.
Yeah.
Well, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was about 35
Yeah.
minutes or so.
And you know the crazy thing, I was telling Crystal this morning, I was reading that the FBI is saying now there's imminent threats on Monday from Al Qaeda to attack in New York, Virginia, and Texas on Monday,
Really?
trying
I
to
didn't
disrupt
hear
the
that.
elections.
Interesting.
It's very interesting.
Is that Hillary's friends?
Yeah.
That's what that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
like what's so crazy is the more you read of like the emails that have leaked and all the different scenarios going on, like I feel like we're in a movie, except it's real.
Yeah.
You know, like all the distortion and the
It's like a lot of the books I'm reading.
Yeah.
All those spy, CIA,
Where it's like
crazy
they
stuff.
really don't have any rules that they have to.
And it's
live
like,
their
how does
life
that
by.
happen in America?
Exactly. So how much else do we not know?
And trying to get swept underneath the rug.
It's like it does.
Yeah.
I said, can you imagine if it was a conservative candidate who had all this? I mean, they would be crucified.
Yeah.
Like it would not be the same at all. So it's crazy.
I mean, the timing of all these new stuff coming out seems a little late, but maybe it's the right timing.
Oh,
God's
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it's
I mean, a lot
God's
of people
timing.
have already voted for her.
Patton came out when it did.
Oh,
Like, it
yeah.
came out 6 months ago. I think people
He
would
would've forgotten about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it's not Tuesday yet. Who knows what'll happen between now and then? I mean,
Right.
there could be more that comes out.
And I learned
so.
you can change your vote
In 7 states.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Tennessee's
Yeah,
not one.
Interesting.
yeah. Florida
You
was
can
one.
change
For
your
early voting,
vote?
if you early voted.
Early voted.
Which is what Donald
Change
Trump
it.
was talking about then, that they tried to make it sound like he was being sketchy.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah.
really
Which I never didn't know that until I heard
didn't
him
know
say that.
that.
Yeah.
who knew.
So are we going to release this episode before like this
Yeah,
weekend?
It comes out Sunday.
So go vote if you haven't
Go
voted.
vote. Yes,
Yeah.
please. It's important.
Vote for Trump.
I mean, and if I can just say, don't vote for a third party candidate.
I
It's
know,
a
it's
waste.
so
You're giving a
stupid.
vote to Clinton. I mean, if you don't want her in office, you have to vote for Trump.
And I understand
There's no-
I understand the meaning behind it, why people say do it.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the bigger picture.
You do.
Yeah.
If they can't carry 30% of the vote, it's a waste.
Right.
And they're not going to. There's no way.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to work.
What else is going on? Anything?
Anything we want to talk about? Let me see.
Jennifer and Jason's sign business is going gangbusters.
Yes,
Yes.
it's going great.
And Jennifer is so skinny.
Well, I mean, look at them both.
I know.
Lord.
Yeah, they're both skinny.
I've lost another inch for the last.
We've become y'all's fat friends.
I've always wanted this. That's why we're eating after this.
We're gonna
have the lettuce.
have
The loaded potato.
Right, we're going to eat a little bit on their plate. No, Jason's like the food Nazi, and that's not a bad thing. It's like a good thing.
good
He
thing.
kind of
Yeah.
keeps me on track because at the Halloween thing at church, there's all the food trucks.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wanting something, and he's like, it doesn't sound good to me. And I was like, well, me neither.
Yeah. You're like, oh, no, because I'm as skinny as you.
Right.
So.
I wanted the
Fish.
catfish.
That was the only thing we
yeah.
kind of wanted.
And but no, we didn't do it.
Good for y'all.
Yeah.
We've been doing this points thing for this week.
Weight Watchers points.
It's not
Oh.
Weight Watchers, but it's like Weight
It's
Watchers.
like the generic Weight
Yeah.
Watchers.
Yeah.
And,
Is it working? Are you starving? That's why you
No,
said you
I'm
were
not
starving.
I am starving.
I'm not, because like apples are like fruits free, veggies. So I'm good. I made
It's all
soup.
this week. I had for like lunch 2 different days. I had these diet hot dogs. They're like 2 points.
They're
each,
turkey hot
with
dogs.
nothing except for like a tablespoon of ketchup to dip them in. That was my lunch.
But that's his choice. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what he chose to eat. He could have had
as
a lot of.
opposed to
I mean, I'm just saying you can have veggies for free. Like there are other things you could eat, but he just that's what.
It's all about the choices that you make.
It's all about the
Fat
choices.
friend.
But what ask him what y'all eat today. Top hog.
Oh,
today, but I planned that 2 weeks ago.
Here's what I like about it. It's sort of like your envelope system. It hurts to spend that cash. It hurts to spend those points.
does.
I'm like, oh heck, a granola bar is like 9 points.
Yeah.
Heck no.
I don't like it that much.
It does
I
make
don't
a
like it that
difference.
much. So it's like that cash value of it. It makes you aware of what you're eating.
Oh, before we go any
So-
further, so you can find us online at sundayeveningcoffee.com and you can email us at sundayeveningcoffee@gmail.com. And I say that, and we've talked about it a little bit, I think, at church, but I've been really amazed at the different people that, not only at church, that have come up and said that they watch the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been pretty amazing. And then even somebody at church said that they were in the grocery store and somebody saw her watching it, and they didn't go to church with us, and we're like, oh, I watched that
Which
too.
is so cool.
I'm like, that's awesome.
It always
So,
makes me go, oh, what did I don't know what I said.
yeah.
I know.
So,
Do you know about my sex life? 'Cause I don't think I've talked about it. It's possible.
we did talk about menstruation in class Wednesday night.
We did.
Menstruation.
Brian talked about having the app Clue that lets you know when it.
It's actually a good tip. So we haven't talked about that on here. If you
No.
if you didn't know this, there's an app called Clue
I didn't know this.
where you
It's
can
for the
track
man.
I don't know that it's for the man, but it was talked about
So
by
you
a man.
can get
that-
a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About when, it was PMS and when it was time. And
And when
they're
you first
fertile.
got it,
When
it
it's
would
time to
ask me
take
all
over.
these weird
That's right.
questions. Like
So that's
he'd
a
say,
great.
so tell me, would today be like a light day? And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Why do you want to know this?
And he's like putting it all on his phone. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
That's funny.
So now I was a little bit grouchy yesterday. And he looked at his phone and he was like, oh, yeah, we're right on track. But right there, she's okay with it. He's like, oh, it's just your hormones. Like, it's like that's the end of the subject. So it's a good thing.
Funny.
It's not like anything's
I never heard
wrong,
of that
just-
before.
Clue. Yeah.
Get a clue.
So-
Get a clue.
Go download the
Tonight
app.
is a questions episode. We haven't done one in a while. So
It's our favorite.
It is. We like some questions. So we'll jump in and get going. Who wants to go first?
Me, I have 2 questions, so I'll ask the first one
Okay.
because it's kind of off. So how do y'all feel about telling people who you voted for? Because, historically, that's a very private thing. People didn't talk about it. Do you think in the day and age of social media, the rules have changed any?
I think if you're not doing anything, if you're secretly voting for Hillary.
If you are voting for Hillary, lie.
Right. I mean, if you're voting for the right thing, you're standing up for the word of God. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
I agree.
Well, let's not even take it into the Word of God. Are you strong enough in your convictions on whatever side of the fence that you're voting for to stand up for what you did in secret?
And to be able to have that debate if somebody questions
Right.
you.
And because
Stand ready with your answer.
because essentially that's what it is. I mean, are you gonna support? Are you gonna be the person of integrity to do something behind the screen, and then when you get questioned on it, are you gonna stand up to say, or are you gonna back down?
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do it.
Yeah. So I mean, really, that comes down to it, and I think back 50 years ago, a lot of things weren't talked about as much in
It was
public.
considered very private. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember when I was young, I remember my dad not talking about, he thought that was something that was private. You didn't talk about who you voted for.
And I do think social media changes it somewhat because so many of us comment or, you know what I mean, or post an article or something. It might be easier to discern what somebody believes or what they back.
But so many people today have signs, so it's not like you're really hiding anything. I mean, it's not like you're...
Well, some people still don't talk about it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I posted this, I think, last week one day. At the end of the day, Trump was not my first choice for president.
Not at first.
No.
He wasn't.
Right.
But he became my candidate.
Yeah.
And now I 100% stand behind that and support him.
And I think he maybe is going to do a great job. I'm just not sure that he won't be a great president.
Right. But this is the thing, you don't vote for the person, you vote for the issues.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Against
No,
abortion.
The issues and the judges.
Yeah.
The judges.
The Supreme
the
Court.
judges,
Yeah.
That's truly what the vote is about this year, I think, is the Supreme Court justices.
Oh, 100%.
That's it. Yeah.
Makes a
we're
big
so-
difference.
It
Especially,
affects our life and our children's life.
Yep.
it's convenient that conservative judge died right before they were hoping Hillary got elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my random question.
You didn't answer it yourself, though. What are your thoughts?
I think because growing up, everybody was very private about it. You didn't talk about religion. You didn't talk about politics. Those were kind of the no-nos. But I think society has changed. I think social media has played a huge part of that. I think TV in general, but I think definitely social media. I think for the most part, I think the older generation maybe still feels that way, but I think for most of us, somewhat younger people, I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah.
I would tell people.
Yeah.
So,
We voted for Trump.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
All day long.
I wear a Republican t-shirt.
That says I voted for Trump.
Yeah. Women for Trump.
Yeah.
When I just want to put this out there. When I get older, I'm gonna be one of those volunteers at the because I love that. I just want to be there with the old
pass
people.
out the I voted sticker. I want to be the sticker girl.
So,
I just think that's so fun.
yeah, and I'm so appreciative that people volunteer to do that, except
The old person.
Do they have you move from one side of the benches to the other side of the benches? They don't do it the most efficient way. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
but I didn't go to Gallatin. I went to
I
the
went to
Expo Center in
Gallatin.
Hendersonville. But here's what happened. So I walk up, and we changed our address. Like, my address has changed on our license, all that kind of stuff. And it asks you if you want to change your voter registration as well. And I clicked yes. So I get up there, And she said, please state your address. And it's on my license. She's looking at it. So I read off my license. She said, that's not correct. And I said, it is correct. I said, that's the correct license. We just moved. She went, you're going to have to tell me your old address then. So I tell her my old address. She said, that's right. And I said, okay. She said, so that's not your address now? And I said, no, ma'am, it's
That's
not.
what old means.
She said, so we're going to have to change it. I said, okay. So she has my license sitting in the keyboard of the computer. And she goes, now tell me your address.
Maybe she can't see it.
I said, okay. So
Okay, let me just say I did not handle that situation correctly.
what?
I want my vote to be counted, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just saying I handled it differently than you did. I gave the old address from the get-go.
Yeah. So anyway, so I give her the numbers and I start in the street. She goes, hang on, honey, hang on. I'm not a speed demon. So literally get through all of it. And then she's like, and what's your phone number? So, my area code is 828. So I say,
Oh, no.
and she gets all the way, that's too many numbers. And I said, right up front, area code 828. Hang on.
And the people behind you in line are rolling their eyes.
You could have voted like 3 times.
I could have. So she finally gets through all of it. It seriously was about 8 minutes from start to finish for her to get all my stuff changed. Then she prints it out. I have to verify it all. Then she has to go back in and verify it in the system before she prints out I'm like, oh. So.
Why couldn't they have some younger people do that?
Yeah.
That part.
Well, or just read the license.
I'm happy we have to show them a license.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, JC2, what's your question for the night?
It's a pretty simple one. Basic. I mean, what if your spouse does not want to go to counseling with you, and it's kind of important that they go?
That's tough.
I think
it's a common one, I think.
Yeah, it is. One, I think it's a pride thing. I think it's always a pride thing when somebody doesn't want to go to counseling because they're not at a place yet where they want to admit that
There could be some fault lies with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Most people who are so adverse to counseling, it's because typically they have a choleric personality and they're always
don't wanna be
right.
told.
And they
The
don't
negative
want to be told.
negative
But I also
connotation
think-
about it.
I would still
Maybe-
go, though. I think that the spouse
Oh, yeah,
who
I
feels
think
like
they should still go.
should still go.
But I also think a lot of times people think counseling is like you're sitting in a room. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. Like they may not understand what counseling really is.
Or they're not willing to. They know they're going to be told they need to change, and not wanting to change of what they're doing. And
Or maybe they just really are so full of themselves they think it's all the other spouse and they don't do
Right.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, there are some people that's probably where they are.
In that case, the other person definitely needs to go because they need some help to know what to do.
Absolutely. To go, But no, I think that is a common thing, though. I think you hear that a lot, that one person wants to go and the other one doesn't. So,
And I think too, and I think we've all talked about it before. I really do think that counseling is healthy for everybody. I mean, I really think that all of us have baggage. It's on some level that we all could use some little touch up.
Even some wisdom here and there. Yeah.
sequence and good counsel.
absolutely.
Most people that you talk to that have been through counseling, they all say the same thing. I didn't even know where that came from until I sat down and somebody knew how to pull that out and dig into
Connect the dots.
and get the root of it and pull it out. So no, I think counseling is wise, and I think that if you have a spouse who won't go to counseling, it's still healthy to go even by yourself. But I think it's never going to be very productive, because if there's no willingness to change and get counsel on your spouse's side, then nothing's going to change.
But maybe they
Other
can see
than
the
through
change
prayer.
in you
Yeah.
and see the progress, and maybe that'll encourage them to go.
Yeah.
Just like if you want to go to church and the other spouse doesn't, it shouldn't pull you out of church. You still go and hopefully and pray that the other spouse is going to come around eventually.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good question. Absolutely. I think that's a very relevant. I think you're right. A lot of people deal with that.
Jason gave me that idea.
Well, and the transverse of that too is I think people sometimes are too quick to go to counseling over little things and want to make it into a big issue.
Yeah.
I think I've definitely seen situations where they're like, well, we need to go to counseling because you did that. And then it goes into, you go into counseling with the mindset of, okay, let me stop and back up. Going into counseling with the mindset of, I'm going to change her. We're going to go to counseling. I'm going to tell the counselor what's going on.
It's like going to the principal's office
Right.
or going and tattling, kind of.
It's not going to work. You're going to have to go in going, okay, you know what? We need to figure out between us what's going on. And
Yeah.
so. Jason?
So think of a couple that you admire, and what would be some traits that they acquire that you admire?
It's a good question.
That is a
It
good
is.
question.
Yeah.
I think the people, couples and just people in general that I admire typically are the ones that are the most coachable, that are open to feedback and change. And, I always try to surround myself with those types of people. They're the people I want in my life because I know that they're willing to change. They're willing to see things from a different perspective and not be so hard, fast set on, nope, it's this way, no other way, can't look at anything else.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important trait to have, even in marriage, to be able to go, hey, I don't think that's right, and being able to sharpen each other and sanctify each other.
The wineskin has to stay a little pliable, right? For me, I think it's people who not only are godly and they have a godly marriage, but they have fun and they like each other.
That's
Like
so
people
nice.
who like
laugh.
each other,
Yeah.
yes, and they enjoy each other's company because at the end of it all, it shouldn't be drudgery every single day.
Right.
You can do all the right things and it still be not good. So people who've learned, in spite of the flaws and in spite of because there's always going to be negative, but they still like each other and they found a way to have fun through it.
Yeah.
Because I think that makes life just so much better. So that's what I like.
I agree.
Yeah, it's good.
For me, I think a big deal is, and this is something I've had to learn for a while, for a long time, is being genuine in your marriage as well as being around other people. And
That's
but
really good.
yeah, and so if you're not genuine and being the same person, you could be a jerk at home, but
Ding, ding, ding.
Put on a really good.
yes, real good face.
What's that? I can't do it.
But that, as well as have fun as a couple. And I think that's a huge key to longevity in life in general, but also in your marriage, because you're with this person for the long haul. You should be with that person for the long haul. So
Like 50,
enjoy it.
60, 70 years.
You got to find something to laugh about.
And you know what? Honestly, laughter does make so many things
Oh
better.
my gosh,
Yeah.
so much.
A stressful situation, if you can find just one little thing to laugh
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Or just even learning to enjoy stupid stuff together. I mean, whatever it is, just have fun. So
Yeah.
have fun with it.
You didn't
Good.
give your answer.
I was kind of along with Crystal. People who laugh together, like one couple I'm thinking of, seems to just, it's almost like they're dating. Like they're not, everything, like there's new things that happen to
Yeah.
them. So that's
good.
Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah.
Brian's discovering some new white hairs. He's been pointing out to me a lot
White
the last
hairs?
few days.
My hair's turning white.
Like he's got a whole new little patch right here in the front. So.
So stop the questions here. My lovely wife acquired a new baseball player she admires. That's on the opposing team.
Well, he makes a lot of money. He makes like, I looked at how much
He makes a lot of money.
$1 million a year.
But she liked his beard. And so she asked me to grow out the beard for a while.
I said, now that he's skinny, I want to see what he looks like with a beard. I've only seen him with a beard like one time in all these years.
Yeah.
So
And he wasn't the skinny.
And it's before you
so-
were the skinny
no.
friend.
That's right. I was the big fat.
That's Right.
So yes,
Which I
I've,
think
So
he
we'll
looks
see.
very
I've got the
good.
beard started.
Yeah.
So like how much of a beard?
Oh
is
no,
it?
not like.
Oh, okay.
Not like.
No.
Okay.
But keeping it tailored. And that was another thing.
No
that-
William Lee Golden beard.
With maybe some beads.
Braiding.
No. But that was another thing. All right. So men watching the World Series, men, they make a lot of money. And they need to learn how to tailor their beards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them are all
growing like
scrunkly. It's horrible. So, yes.
It's sort of like a werewolf or like some sort of character on. Yeah.
Now, if I didn't shave up there, I would have all that. But yeah. So
I
It
think
is about
looks kinda-
grooming.
It is.
it's about
Yeah.
grooming.
You know,
it is.
a well-kept beard is one thing. Like
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it, though, because people just think I'm beard envy because I can't grow any facial hair. So
But
just
you
doesn't
have.
make jealous.
It's all right here.
It's, yeah,
He
you got the head
has
hair.
I
gray
have Woody Woodpecker.
And
so
again,
that's
his granddad died with hair like that. So I'm
that's a
like,
good sign.
He's always
yeah.
full head of white.
So now, are
locks
you
hair.
going to diet, or are you gonna let
God, no.
the wisdom grow in?
Yeah. I mean, it's white.
So
it's
the
not
the
gray.
very first white hair I had was probably 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I asked her then, I said, do you want me to dye my hair? Or do you want me to let it go? Because I really think probably in the next 4 to 5 years I'll be white-headed. And I said, do you want me to? She's like, no, let it go. And I'm like,
I loved his
Yeah.
pop's hair. It was his glory. He'd be sitting there in his sweatsuit, spitting his tobacco.
comb
Literally.
with him all the
And he
time.
would,
Yeah.
you'd walk in and he'd comb that hair. And
Wow.
I'm like,
That's
He had a
fantastic.
pompadour.
He
had
liked
good
that
hair.
Awesome.
hair. So
That's a
no, I
good
love
sign.
it.
Yeah.
So it was good. Spitting his tobacco juice.
Yeah.
Comb that hair.
And back in those days, they had their sleeves rolled up with their cigarette pack, and then their comb in their pocket.
He practically still did.
Yeah. He didn't smoke, but he chewed.
Yeah, he chewed.
That's
Yeah.
I
fun.
don't think I ever saw him without a chew, but
He chewed Red Man plug tobacco. Red Coon, I'm sorry. Red Coon plug.
Red
That's,
King.
that's
I've
what the
never
real
even heard of
men
that.
chew.
I heard Red-
Plug, you pull it off and take a bite and put it. He had a tobacco pouch he kept in his back pocket.
I remember I was probably fourth or fifth grade, maybe fifth. My dad, he would always, be trying to quit smoking, so then he would chew tobacco. And he had a spit cup in his work truck.
I don't want to hear the rest of the story.
I
I
know,
can't.
it was a spit cup.
I'm plugging my
And
ears.
it was so bad. It was a bad day.
I had a buddy that I rode horses with that drove a truck for a living. He drank Pepsi all the time, and he also chewed tobacco.
Oh, bad
So we had
mix
Yeah.
up.
You
So bad.
never
Yeah.
know which
La,
cup
la,
to
la,
drink.
la, la.
No, it was so gross.
Yeah. So my question is conflict in a marriage a good thing or a bad thing, and why?
I think it's a good thing.
Why?
Because you have to learn how to get along with each other. And if you're always on the same page, you're not sharpening each other.
And if you're always on the same page, you're probably not
Somebody's
really on the same
lying.
page.
Right.
That's
Right.
the thing.
Right.
Or you feel like you can't be honest and you can't be yourself, which is a horrible place to be.
Well, I'm very much a people person, so I like to please. I don't like the conflict.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've struggled with. Of when something does go awry, instead of just trying to sweep it underneath the rug,
Being honest.
be honest with it.
Yeah.
And as much as it's going to hurt,
Rip that Band-Aid off.
yeah. And so sometimes it's most of the time I'd say it's well received, but there's been some hard discussions.
Well, and I think for most people because there have been times in life where I just didn't want to deal with it, so I would kind of sweep it under, but then eventually it's like it festers and boils,
Yeah.
and then eventually it comes out, and it's not a little thing; it becomes a big thing that should have been something really small.
Or it
shouldn't
becomes
be
a
a
root
big
of bitterness.
Yeah. Well, I heard this. I think it was Jimmy Evans. This is many years ago, and I've always remembered this about him. He said, if somebody says to you, "But we only get in a big fight like every 6 months, and the rest of the time we're fine," he said that means that you're just pushing things down
Yeah.
the road. You're not really.
dealing with them
Yeah.
when they happen. Yeah. Because I think little
And I think-
bickers are part of life.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
The confusing thing, I think, when people hear conflict, they think that it has to be some big, boisterous, we got to
Ugly.
knock down, drag out fight. Conflict is not always something that you're just so passionate about that you're at odds and you're mad and you're in each other's face. Conflict it can just be
It can be. I think those look like funeral arrangements. And it can be, I like them, so I hear what you think.
Yeah.
There's your conflict.
We disagree. Whatever.
The friction is a good thing sometimes. I mean, like sharpening a knife, you have to cause that friction.
Yeah.
You have to cause that conflict, the tearing away a little bit to get a sharper edge on it.
Yeah, I think too many people just pick the rug up and sweep it under.
Well, I think
we'll just pretend like that's not
people
there.
think that conflict is bad. I
Yeah.
think people, especially young marriages, who look at other people who
Think
seem to
that's
handle things
perfect.
well, and they think, well, we're not supposed to fight, and that's not true.
Well, I think you learn a different way to fight, and that's something even that I can say about us, even in the past 6 months or a year. The way that we interact when we disagree is changing all the time. It's getting more healthy.
Yeah.
I think conflict is healthy, but I think the way that we interact, I have for my whole life, I'm a know-it-all, and I want to be right, and I want things to be my way, and I know that. And I've started realizing that, and I've started realizing that when we disagree, I typically tend to talk down to her. Because my way is the right way, and mine is the best one. And we had a pretty in-depth discussion the other day that could have been ugly, but it wasn't. I told her why I thought what I thought, and it really could have escalated because she was very dismissive. She's like, sometimes you just don't make any sense, which normally that would have sent me over the edge. But it didn't. I was like, well, here's why I think this, and here's why I'm different from why you think that. And it was completely civil. It was a complete disagreement, and we never really agreed on what we were talking about.
We still had different viewpoints at the end of it all.
But it was the most civil, I think, disagreement that we've had probably maybe in our marriage.
That's good progress.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
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 I really love to roll my eyes. That's one thing. I'm like, whatever. I love that. That's my favorite comeback. I just roll my eyes.
It's like the dirtiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel better.
That's fine.
So
Yeah.
that's my comeback.
Good times.
So conflict is good.
Conflict is good, and don't be scared of it.
No, it doesn't have to be ugly.
And I think, conflict too, I think it helps shape you. Conflict makes you challenge what you do think and why you think that. And again, I probably have said it 2 times tonight already, but sanctification is what that process is. It's when you don't understand something or you're not doing something and somebody challenges you and it changes what you're thinking. It sanctifies you. It gets you closer to God because you've had a different way to think about something.
And we've had times of conflict where he'll pick up the phone and FaceTime Robbie and Vanessa and say, okay, here's what's going on, and this is what I think, and this is what she thinks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like a tiebreaker. It's like another person's perspective on it. And I think that there are times when you need to have somebody that, if it's truly an issue that has to be resolved, find somebody that you can seek counsel from.
Let me clarify. It's not a call them for me to prove her right.
No.
Prove me right.
No.
I mean, it's
I mean that
definitely one of those things
tongue-in-cheek.
where I go, I really don't know.
Yeah, or we don't know what to do
I
or
don't
what the
know
solution is.
what the answer is
Yeah.
for this. And it's things that typically aren't like a matter of let's pray about it and get an answer.
Yeah.
It's more like, everyday things. And I think it's completely fine to if there's somebody that, is further down the road than what you are, to call them and say, hey, here's what's going on. What do you think about this? What do you think the right
We're
thing
having
is
trouble
here?
resolving it.
That kind of thing. So,
It's funny.
yeah. So you had a second question?
I did. So if you have a friend who maybe has recently gone through a divorce and is involved in maybe some worldly activities, and you start feeling like maybe that could encroach on your marriage in some way, shape, or form, how do you handle it?
If you have a friend that's gone
So
through
if I
a
have
divorce,
let's say I have a female friend who, and they're partying or drinking or whatever, and tried to invite that married spouse
I
out
gotcha.
or
so they're trying
whatever,
to pull you into
just
their
some
whim.
behavior that maybe is not the healthiest for a
Yeah.
marriage. How do you handle it? What do you?
Is your friend a Christian?
Said Christian,
Said-
but still doing.
just in a bad season.
So biblically, the answer is you go to that person, you point out what they're doing, not in
Right.
a condemning
Judgy.
way, but hey, you know what? I don't feel like this is probably honoring God, and if they don't listen, then you go before the elders of the church with them, and then you go before the church, then you
go,
dust your feet off.
You're done.
I mean, scripturally,
my love for you.
That's the answer, scripturally, but that's a hard thing. That's one
It
thing
is
I've always
hard.
struggled with. If
The world
somebody
we
is
live
your
in.
friend and they're not living the right way, and they know the right way, and they still choose to do that, and you do cut them off, I've always had this mindset of what if you cutting them off is your last connection to, to God, and they just
But like
go off the
Pastor
deep
has
end.
said, people don't find God till they're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes that.
Well, and then at what point, being what we believe biblically, at some point, how far down does your salvation go with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like at some point, potentially, you're away from the Lord. So then you're not part of the church. You're not part of the family. You're not part of the bring you in front of the elders. Like it's like it gets all muddy in there somewhere of knowing as a person. I don't know somebody's heart. I don't know where they are. I guess you just have to go on what they profess to be, and if they're living that duplicitous life and figuring out from the fruit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's really all we have is the fruit to look at. So it seems like it's a little, there's definitely some area there to try to figure out where all that lands at.
And when do you back away?
When do you back away?
Yeah. And do you tell them you're backing away, or do you not tell them,
And then as the other spouse, do you put up a fence around your marriage and say, this is not healthy? It could impact your marriage if you're not careful because, bad seed.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I think
So-
it's completely fine in that situation if it were us for me to go, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
You don't need to be around her. There's a check in my spirit, and that's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And I think you would. And I think, yeah.
I think, that could be a really real example, because even if, like, if you're not grounded in biblical truth or not willing to stand up and you want to be a friend more than biblical truth, you're going to get sucked into it. And
You're going down with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're, and even though as much as you say, oh, I'm just going to support them, I want to, they need a friend at this time because they're struggling, whatever. That's where, I think a lot of people would do that. Think of my friend, I'm just going to be a friend. I'm just going to go hang out at the bar with them.
'Cause you wanna love
even though I'm
them.
not going to drink.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think at that point, you have to be more factual and go on the Word of God than you do emotion. You got to take emotions
Absolutely.
out of it.
And
I think that's true.
And I think, a different situation, but same kind of idea. When Edie was living with her now husband before they were married, she wanted the girls to come spend the night with her. That absolutely not. I love you, and I don't. That we don't condone what you're doing at this point in your life, but we're absolutely not going to send the other girls over there to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And say yes, it's okay, and we're going to send our kids there. Yeah. So I think it's hard sometimes, but I think you have to be strong and say, we're not going to do that. Here's why we're not going to do that scripturally. And if that changes, then that's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. I still love you, and I'm not cutting you out of my life like I'm never going to see you again. But there are boundaries that we're going to put in place to make sure that we're protected and that our family's protected.
And I think what makes it hard too is, especially it seems like the Christian world, but I think the world's perception of Christians is also, well, don't judge. You're not supposed to judge.
Right.
Don't judge. And it's like, no, actually, we are supposed to judge you. Like we're supposed
That's
to help each
misinterpreting
other.
that verse.
Yes.
So I hate
So
that.
I think
That's
that
so taken out of
you're
context.
battling
Yeah.
against that too. That whole perception. Oh, well, you're not supposed to judge. No, actually, we are.
Well,
So
we're
we're
not.
fruit checkers.
We're not supposed to judge. We're supposed to let
right.
the Word of God
Yeah.
be a piercing sword. And
Don't
it's
say
supposed
you're
to judge,
an
and it
orange
does
tree
judge.
and there's a bunch of dead, dried up raisins on it.
It's one thing to say, I'm judging you for that. It's
Yeah.
another to say, the Word of God says this, so
Yeah.
you're already judged. It's not, if you're a child of God and you're going against the Word, you're already judged. It's not us judging you. It's already done.
So that's
a
my
good
question.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Y'all just need to be in prayer over the election. That's
Yeah.
about it.
This week's challenge
Oh,
is
yeah.
a good one.
Ooh, when does it start
like
today?
that.
It starts tomorrow.
It started yesterday.
It started yesterday for us.
So it'll
I'm
start
in trouble.
Sunday.
But for everyone who's listening to this podcast,
It'll be
Well,
okay.
at first, I like to say this was the ones that we draw. Everyone put it in the
Yes.
hat, and this was Jason's suggestion.
Of course
When
it
I
was.
saw it, I opened it, and I was like, "That's Jason."
And it is.
it is Take the 7-Day Daily Sex Challenge. But there's a caveat on it.
Oh.
Focus on pleasing your spouse. I think so many times, especially as a man, we don't do that.
Welcome to King Burger.
Give it your way.
Drive through.
Drive-through. There are times for drive-throughs, but there's all. Even during the time of drive-through, you can still work on pleasing your spouse.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So
So next 7 days.
next 7 days, take it on.
That's nothing for
Yeah.
me. You know that Clue app thing we're talking about?
Back to the beginning.
Yeah,
of the,
so,
Oh, that's right.
so out of all the challenges that you guys have been doing in your class, which one has been like the most well received?
I think one of the ones that we had recently was the love language.
Yeah.
Everyone find out your love language.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
we actually had
And we're gonna-
a few couples that did not know anything about love
Yeah, I
language.
had never heard of
Wednesday
it.
night in the class at
Out of
church.
probably 40 people in there, 3 raised their hands that they knew what love
Yeah.
languages
Really?
were. I'm like,
Yeah.
Is that-
We said
how's
who,
that
do you
possible?
know your
Well,
spouse's
everyone
love
was
language?
like, we said, send your group, take a picture of it and send it to your group. So it was fun to see everyone
Yeah,
else's,
yeah.
and you kind of, you see the couples and you see, oh, that's why they act the way they do with each other, and it was
Yeah.
fun. And the one couple said, I'm so thankful we heard of this because it opened up their eyes to a lot
Yeah.
of
That's
things.
awesome.
So
That's
yeah,
the-
that's probably the best well received one.
That's awesome.
The other ones, a lot of them were like doing active service or one that we actually enjoyed was take a bath together. One
Another
time
guy
during the week.
suggestion.
you can always tell the guys.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Parade
Scrub
around
my
in your
back.
stilettos and smile.
You got a loofah?
Can you comb my hair on my back?
Put some beads in it.
That's funny.
So you have to clean out the bathtub.
Yeah.
after this.
All right, so we'll have a guest next time. We've got a couple people that we've talked to, so we've got to figure out some dates and times, and we'll get back on the every other week schedule again, and
Yep.
be rolling through the holidays, and Thanksgiving will be here.
Excited.
before we
Thanksgiving's
know
my
it.
favorite
Close.
holiday.
Yeah, I like the
I'm
food
so
the best
excited.
at Thanksgiving.
I love it.
I
I'm
literally
excited.
could eat a whole pumpkin pie, and I have many.
Literally,
probably
you
every
do.
year. Like literally, I do.
So if you're still listening, send us an email to what your favorite tradition is
Yes.
at Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Very
you
good.
guys have a great night. We're going to eat because it's now
7:30.
7:30, and we haven't had any food, and
And I'm doing a 10K in the morning with
and their
charity.
fat friends are
are?
starving. And so you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time on Sunday Evening Coffee.
See ya.